Missouri. There's so many bucks we saw this morning. I literally lost track. We just cannot be in the right place at the right time, it feels like.
Watching the break of day from the seat of your tree stand is kind of like being reunited with your favorite hunting partner. You have time to reminisce on memories past while anxiously awaiting what is sure to come. This is exactly what whitetail hunters live for.
Here in Missouri, the temperature's 60 degrees this morning and it's gonna be 75 for a high today. The deer yesterday were not moving. We literally did not see a deer all day long until the last 5 minutes before dark, and we saw a few does. Our dark to dark sit today had its definite share of absolute boredom and absolute deer chaos. It went from one extreme to another.
Being in the right place at the right time sounds pretty simple, but every archer has gone through the agonizing mental game of trying to decide what stand to sit in with the given wind condition. The details are truly the essence of the hunt. And when we finally make that climb, we know that we have put ourselves in the best possible position.
Over my right shoulder, this ancient old deer, he looked like he only had one eye, came in right into my shooting lane. Just really wasn't the deer I'm looking for. I had two little tiny deer behind me that were gonna fight. It kind of all erupted at once. That is the exciting part about hunting the rut. I wasn't quite ready to notch my tag on that old bruiser, but he was a cool deer to see, just not quite the right deer. We saw a really good buck last night, kind of a mainframe 8 with a bunch of trash on him. Really nice deer, one of the better deer that we've seen over the last couple of years. He was literally right over my shoulder. He came into about 50 yards, just wouldn't close the gap and give me a shot opportunity. We did some snort wheezing, some grunting, and he just wasn't interested. We moved our stand again after our morning sit. The deer are crossing pretty heavily just in front of me here into this finger of timber, and then using this to kind of navigate between a bunch of these fields and chase does. There are so many bucks we saw this morning, I literally lost track. We just cannot be in the right place at the right time, it feels like. One more afternoon to give it a try. There's been a lot of buck activity, deer in this particular drainage right here. If we didn't bowl them out too bad this morning, then we'll have a pretty solid shot for tonight. Right here, really close. There's the buck. He's coming. I judged him, I thought, about 30 yards. And I think I misjudged my yardage about 5 yards. This is the deer we saw on the first night in here. He was staring at us forever, and he finally committed, and he came in a spot where I was not expecting, of course. And I have my camera arms here, it was just kind of a gong show.
Missing certainly isn't the worst thing that can happen, but it makes you sick nonetheless. The countless hours that you put into learning a farm, hanging and moving stands, all to put yourself in the right place at the right time. Shooting over a buck like this, a buck of a lifetime, that's a feeling that I will never forget. After a long year of waiting, my anticipation led me back to Missouri to hunt pre-rut for the first time. And thanks to unseasonably hot days, my hunting timeline is pretty much limited to the first hour before the bucks bed for the day and the last hour of daylight when they feed on acorns in the timber near their bedding area.
We were here last night and had 3 different bucks, all within range. One buck literally walked right underneath me in the stand. Just not old enough deer. So we're back at it this morning, hoping one cruises through here and just enjoying the scenery. It's really interesting. All the leaves are starting to change, and I have a feeling by the time we come back here in November, things are going to look really different. I've never hunted here. But it's so green and lush, and everything is just so vibrant. It makes for a beautiful sit.
I must admit, it's kind of a nice change not sitting all day dark to dark. But without the bucks cruising looking for does, it also means that each sit is a whole lot less exciting. With limited time, I'm giving it 100% during those peak hours, even if it's just the slightest chance of a buck being out of bed and on his feet, no matter what Mother Nature has in store.
Mother Nature is not nice right now. This is our first night sitting this stand. I came out here this spring and put out a bunch of rack one, and we've got a lot of trail camera pictures of this one particular 9-pointer. He's a really nice buck, and he's been using this trail in the morning and the evening, so we have the wind actually to sit down and hunt this spot, so we're hoping tonight that he comes through. Everywhere I've got here is an in-range shot. If he drops down out of the timber, it looks like they're crossing and using this quite a bit, so I'm pretty excited. It's been fun watching this buck grow. I'm in Missouri and I just tagged a beautiful buck. I am so excited. I got the new Bear Archery Refine and I just put down my first deer with this bow. It's been a great week in Missouri. This is my first time coming to the Midwest and doing a pre-rut whitetail hunt. And it did not disappoint this week. We had a little bit of deer activity, not a ton. The acorns dropped about a week ago, and the buck movement has been pretty limited. We were super fortunate. We had trail camera pictures of this deer coming in the morning and the evening during daylight hours. This is the only deer that we've had during the day that I wanted to hunt. So we persevered last night through this torrential rainstorm, got in the stand long before daylight this morning because these deer are moving super early, and I wanted to get in my stand, get settled before they started moving into this bedding area, and everything just aligned perfectly. The deer came in here to bed during shooting light. It just has been an excellent week. Everything came together. Could not be more happy with how this trip to Missouri has turned out.
Thank you for watching this episode of Pursue the Wild. If you would like to hear more, check out the Wild and Uncut podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts. And be sure to follow me at Kristy Titus on Facebook and Instagram.